Hey, it's Mark Marin from WTF here to let you know that this podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. And I'm sure the reason you're listening to this podcast right now is because you chose it. Well, choose Progressive's Name Your Price tool, and you could find insurance options that fit your budget, so you can pick the best one for your situation. Who doesn't like choice? Try it at Progressive.com. And now, some legal info. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I don't know if you've heard, but Mint's premium wireless is $15 a month. But I'd like to offer one other perk. We have no stores. That means no small talk. Crazy weather we're having. No, it's not. It's just weather. It is an introvert's dream. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan. $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Hello, guys. Welcome to this week's episode of Heavy Metal Tones. Another fantastic interview following on from last week's one with Sarah from Antagonizer. Yes, the Halloween special, which did really well. I'm really pleased that people enjoyed that. It was the first time, my lovely hair. It was the first time I could actually manage it to get the video onto Spotify so that it could sync with the audio. I don't normally do that. I give it a go. This one will be doing the same. So if you're watching this on Spotify, well, you're saying, Tony, you're preaching to the converted. I already know. Anyway, this week's episode is a chat with Chris and the band from April 16th. Here we go. Can you see that? April 16th. They reached out, well, Chris reached out to me a few weeks back now, maybe last month, and was like, hey, we'd love to for you to review the album. We'd like you to give it some thought, maybe play a few tracks in your show. And I loved it so much and their story so much that I decided that, yes, I want them on the show. So I did over the last few weeks, if you'll remember, I sort of spoon-fed some information. One of the tracks was on the show a few weeks back in the middle of the program. And so we should all, if you're followers of this show, should know that what it sounds like. If you don't, I shall put a link in the show notes below, and then you can go and head to that episode and listen to that track after you listen to the great interview or the chat that was on. I also got sent this, The Ghosts of April, a book by Dave Russell, the fantastic voice of the band. And he wrote this story about this sort of sad rise and fall and where they are now and where they're going. I think it's a really fascinating read. I'm halfway through it. I'm really loving it. But this is the interview with the band, most of the band, I should say. And we talk about all sorts of things. We talk about the new wave of British heavy metal. We talk about where music is now, where it's going, what they're doing, where they've been, the bands that they've been with and, supported and influenced by. It's a really interesting rags to riches and back again story. And they're about to take another step into their future again. And I hope that this is that one little leap that pushes them on to bigger things, because it's a brilliant album. As I said, Epitaph is not the album. It's like I won't give it away because they're going to talk about it. But Epitaph is out now. You can listen to it on all streaming platforms. That was really good radio, wasn't it? Me and my friend. All streaming platforms, it is available of your choice. And the book is also available on Amazon, and so is the CD, I believe, or directly from the wonderful band. Also, for the first 5 to reach out to me and private message me, but just say, hey, we want one, Chris will send them a CD. So please do. It doesn't matter where around the world you are, just reach out to me. First 5. Okay? When I get to the 5th one, I will let everyone know. And possibly we might do some more, but at the moment, it's 5 only. Anyway, I've rabbited on enough. Take it away. This fantastic interview with Chris and the boys from April 16th. Bye for now. Well, welcome, gentlemen,
Yeah.
from April 16th, all the way here to
Hello.
Australia. Hey,
Hi.
right. So we got Chris, we got John, and we got Dave. Right. So Chris is the one that reached out to me. Chris is the rhythm guitarist of this brilliant band. Dave is on. John is on drums, I believe, and Dave, you're the vocalist. Is that correct?
Yeah.
There we go. We got it all right. I got it right the first time. I haven't got to edit
Right way round like that.
it.
All good.
So, yeah. So, firstly, obviously, our audience is going to want to know a bit about the band. You sent me the CD. You reached out and sent me the CD, which is really nice of you to do. Really appreciate it. Fantastic album. And
Thank you.
I had a quick listen when you first reached out to me. I had a quick listen. I was like, oh shit, this is right in my wheelhouse. This is right in my
bless you.
lane.
Bless you.
So I thought I've got to get these guys on, right? Particularly when I thought I knew everything about that particular time in metal in the UK, and I completely missed you guys.
Yeah,
which is
what that happened. Dave, why did that happen?
No idea. No idea.
Yeah.
Whereabouts were you? Whereabouts were you? Have you always been in Australia then, Tony?
no. I moved there in '97. I'm from London.
Yeah. Okay. So you're from the same neck of the woods as us then. So yeah.
Yeah.
So what sort of bands were you sort of going to see in those days?
In those days, it was sort of a mixture. Maiden. I got to see Sabbath around a few times around that time. I was actually going through a lot of my punk phase in that particular era, sort of 87, 88. You know, I was Killing Joke and all those kind of things. Sisters of Mercy, because the metal itself, I reckon, in that period it was dead. You know, you either had a hair metal band, which I couldn't stand, or you had Whitesnake. And you know what I mean? And so it was really hard. A lot of local bands, a lot of local small bands and things, but at that time also I had bugger all money. I was a student.
Yeah. So like you say, I mean, around that time we were competing against the likes of, you know, Rothschild and, you know, all these hair bands, Tiger Tails.
Oh God. Yeah.
So at the time, and also all the pretty boys, you know, like White Snakes, your Bon Jovis, and all that lot were
Exactly.
you know, not taking anything away from the fact they're great bands, but
yeah,
you know, when you had a kind of a bit of a retro sort of bluesy, grungy type sound that we had, we kind of, maybe that's why, you know, our paths never crossed. So you know,
probably, absolutely.
We didn't put the makeup on. We didn't do our hair because I had hair in those days. We just turned up and rocked.
Well, that's the point, though, isn't it? That's the stuff I was going for a lot in those days. That's what I was seeking out when I could find it. I was looking at the venues that you've played in. I've got to get them up, and I'm thinking, geez, I've beaten all of those, or all but all of those ones in London.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, where is it? List of gigs. So I was looking at this earlier, and I thought, okay, right, but particularly in obviously the new Marquee. That was my sort of second home for a long period of time. The Star in Croydon.
oh yeah,
Right? Yeah. Like the old Tiger's Head, Lee Green. I mean, the Swan, Fulham. I mean, these are all the Broadway. You know, Hammersmith. And the one that really got me was so I used to go a lot. Where is it? Here we go. Sorry, I'm looking at my other monitor. Where is it? Where were we? Sorry, it's Croydon, the Marquee, which sadly is no longer there. Which is really sad.
Correct. Yeah.
Really sad. The 100 Club.
I love playing the Marquee. I love the Marquee.
Great. I rode it. Yeah, I rode it for a few bands there. Love that place.
yeah.
What was I thinking of? God, just outside where I'm from, just down the road from me. Oh my God.
Where's that?
I'm thinking. Well, I'm trying to find it. Sorry, guys. This is really good TV, isn't it?
Down the road from you. Where was that?
Yeah. I'm in Hendon, which is North London.
I got Walthamstow Royal Standard in Walthamstow.
Yeah, that's one of them. As I went to school near there.
Sticker Rock. Oh, where was that? Sticker Rock.
Barry. Oh my God, we're Half Moon Putney. My God, the amount of bands I saw at the Hall of Plenty, St Albans.
That's it.
I thought it might be saying one, yeah. Good old.
Because I used to get the the overland train from Hendon. It was a few stops to St Albans, and you could get pissed and get home quite quickly.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But
I was distracted. I was looking at all these because I was looking at these fantastic venues. I thought, Jesus, like the Marquee. When I was back in London last year, and I hadn't been back for a long time, and I was like, go back. And I'll have a wander down the old venues. It's not there anymore. There's not even a plaque for it. It's just the shops now.
Yeah.
It's such a shame. Yeah. The same as the Astoria. I used to love the Astoria. You ever play the Astoria?
We didn't know. Tried hard enough, long and hard enough, but very tough to get into. So quite a large venue. Was it 1,600 capacity? Was it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it's double the size of the Marquee. I tried an endless try to get supports there, etc. You know, but it's a very niche place. All of that West End area was controlled by a kind of in-crowd mafia. You know, you've got to know this producer, you've got to know that promoter. You know, you've got to know that sort of thing. It's very difficult indeed. And both being unfashionable, as Dave was saying earlier of the time, we weren't pretty boys or hair bands. Bit old school really, so it's difficult for us to get into places like that. I tried for about 2 years to get into the Marquee. Then I sent pretty girls along with albums to try and woo the boss and all sorts, but we eventually got in.
You think about that though, is that without bands like yourself and the music which you come from, they wouldn't have their bloody venues filled with music.
True.
You know what I mean? It's a bit they don't look over their shoulder enough. I think it's just straightforward.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. And it's really sad that happens because, again, like I said, I missed you guys, and I absolutely love the music you make.
Thank you.
It's right, like it's if you're describing it, obviously you describe yourselves. You're in that bracket of the wave of British heavy metal, right? That's what they seem to put you in. I sort of think it's that, and it's more like a heavy pub rock sound, don't you?
Yeah, it's hard rock really. Yeah.
Hard rock. There you go. Yeah. I think they have to find a box to put you in, don't they? There has to be a category somewhere.
Yeah, well, a couple of times sorry, John. You know, we got interviews by various music rags back in the day, and as you were alluding to earlier, Tony. I mean, there was a certain type of musician stroke band that they were interested in. That's where their main interest lie. So a couple of times, mainly due to Chris's persistence and the fact that we were starting to get noticed on the London circuit, we were invited to a couple of interviews, and you know, one of them was quite scathing about the way we looked when we turned up in this pub, Chris and I, to meet this journo. And you know, when she posted the interview in the magazine, she was quite nasty and sarcastic about it, which she didn't mention at the time because she was clearly into these hair bands.
Fuck!
It was a bit of a shock. So when you see, I mean, it was a magazine called Kerrang. Funny enough, it was quite a big magazine.
Kerrang. Yeah, I love Kerrang.
So, you know, with its readership, you know, they would have looked at that, and you know, so anybody with some kind of remote passing interest would have looked at that and thought, oh God, these sound like a boring bunch of arsehole, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And therefore, it kind of precludes any judgment that the individual might make on what the music might sound like. I mean, you know, our forte was in a live situation. I mean, you know, I think anybody who saw us live would echo the fact that you know, we were. I mean, you know, she actually said herself that we were pretty good live, but that came through gritted teeth almost. We could tell. So it didn't really help. But look, but going back to what you're saying about these venues playing music with bands like us, I mean, it's also good for those bands to tread the balls in those situations where you haven't got like hundreds of people watching you, because it kind of galvanizes the spirit. You know, it's kind of a bit of a siege mentality when you're playing to a fairly small audience in a modest kind of venue around the back of Beyond somewhere on a midweek night. You know.
Yeah.
That's when you find
they're my favourite gigs. They're my favourite gigs.
Well, that's when you find out how seriously you're going to take it, and it can make or break you. You know, so we soldiered on through that quite admirably especially back in the early days.
Well, you did. I mean, I love that. There's a venue here in Canberra. It's a very small place called The Basement. Holds like 700 max, if you're lucky. And it's the best place. I love it because you get a crowd of 50, 60 people, all like-minded, you know, having a great night for 2 hours. You forget your woes and your worries, your mortgage and your family and your kids, and all that shit. And they're the kind of things that you crave for, even more when you get older, I think.
I absolutely agree. Yeah, I can't think of a. I'm down on record as saying John and Chris are probably sick of hearing it, but I wouldn't. If my favourite band was playing and got to graduated to the arena level, I wouldn't bother going to see them. You know, I like the small clubs. I mean, I'm a big Led Zeppelin fan, and when Led Zeppelin, you know, when the guy from Island Records died, and they did the gig at the O2 in London, I wasn't even remotely interested. You know, too big, too many people, too many corporates. I like you said, Tony, the smaller, intimate gigs where the floor's sticky, the beer's cold. You know,
that's the kind of gig.
It's pitch black.
The dank.
You have to be careful you don't trip over some druggie on the floor. You know, it's
brilliant.
Yeah, right.
Because it's like
exactly.
I mean, you know, massive Iron Maiden fan, right? Of course, like most of us, massive Iron Maiden fan. And my brother saw them in Kingsbury before they were signed. You know,
So
at the
did
old
I.
thingies.
me too.
So like, and he came out. I remember him coming home and going, "That was the best fucking gig I've ever been to in my life."
Yeah.
I went to see Maiden last year, and it was really awful. And I don't mean that because they're wonderful. I mean, they're genius, but it's sort of like it felt like it was just phoned in. It didn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
I walked away and I told my wife, I said, "Oh no, look, unless they're doing a small or specific album, I don't think I'm going to go again because it just didn't feel.
Yeah.
It felt it was just there for the dollar, which is fair enough, I suppose. That's, you know.
Yeah.
What they're
Yeah.
there for.
So, Dave done some roading for Maiden in the early days, didn't you, Dave?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, back in the very early days when they were a four-piece.
Yes.
I used to rock up at their gigs and help get their gear in and out. And I wouldn't say I was quite on. I wouldn't say I was quite on first name terms with Steve Harris, but Paul Di'Anno was a character and a half. I mean, if you've read his book,
mate, I've drank with him a few times.
he was an absolute lovely bloke. But what a crackpot, you know.
Oh man, I saw him about 3 times, twice here in Canberra, luckily enough. And at first time, I turned up and there was just him sitting at the bar having a beer, no one else around. I'd got there early, and he goes, "Come over." And we just sat there and talked for about an hour. It was the most, you know. And then he went on stage and did all the Iron Maiden classics. You think this is royalty, but he's asking me to come over and say, "Have a drink."
Yeah,
Lovely guy.
he was.
He stormed off. He stormed off though. He only played the second time. He only played 3 or 4 songs because he did a Ramones cover, and no one liked it. No one was making any noise except me, and so he went, "Fuck you," and he left.
Yeah, that's what he was like. Totally unpredictable.
Yeah.
But I think there was a tortured soul underneath all that. I think.
Oh God, yes. Yeah.
Having read his he's just had a book, The Beast. It's called.
The Beast is a great book.
It's I mean, some of the stuff in you're thinking, Jesus Christ, but he was capable of doing it because that's the sort of personality he was. You know, some of the things he got up to.
Yeah. I mean, and again, that's the kind of scene that you guys sort of emerged from. You know, imagine all those brilliant bands that you got the chance to see, like Angel Witch and Diamond Head, and you know, the stuff that I would only dream of being able to go and see. You know, Praying Mantis. You know. Satan, all these bands, Demon. I mean, it's just like bloody hell. What a great scene that was.
It was. Yeah, you're right, Tony. Yeah, it was fantastic.
I've got
so
a
varied.
funny story about meeting royalty, as you say. I went to the Hammersmith Odeon, and I went to see Ingrid Malmsteen.
Oh yes.
And supporting them was Uriah Heep. So at the end of the gig, Uriah Heep went to the pub next door. Now, as the drummer was walking out of the pub, I shouted out, "Hi, Lee," to Lee Kerslake, the drummer.
Yeah.
He turned around, came back, and sat with us at our table. And then he got a cab back to my house and spent the night drinking in my house.
Oh, you! That's brilliant.
You don't get rock stars in your own house, but you come and just got in a cab, come back to ours. Yeah.
Jesus.
So I said
That's
to me,
fantastic.
so, John, who was that? I said, Lee Kerslake, the drummer out of Uriah Heep, and, you know, Lizard of Oz.
Yeah.
And she's saying, "Oh, I didn't know you knew him." I said, "I didn't."
Well, you've
That's
got
a
to be
lovely
out
story,
there,
isn't
be
it?
there, right? Is it? You know, those sort of things are of the special moments in rock and roll, right? Those special moments in your life.
Yeah.
You go, I'll remember that forever. I have onto the band. I have to ask, where does the name come from, Chris? Guys, what a strange and wonderful name April 16th is.
I think, like yourself, you are slightly taken with the supernatural, etc., aren't you?
Yes, I am indeed.
Yeah, it's always had a hankering to be a bit that way myself, and I thought if we use this name, and people might. I pretend it's an important date in the future that hasn't yet happened.
Oh, right.
That I was actually writing. I used to write songs in an old diary, blank diary, And one day I was toying around with various names, and I was glanced to the top of the page and saw it was April 16th. So suddenly had this bizarre idea that we named ourselves April 16th, and with the I thought that it's predicting some special day in the future. As it happens, there's been many odd days that people have pointed out. It might point towards some of them not too savoury, with fascists' birthdays and things like that. But it's simply that.
All sorts of nonsense, yeah.
Although,
You know what? Yeah, do you know that kind of stuff? It bugs me so much. Like I know the guys from Venom really well. They're not Satanists. They're just guys that make loud noise and offend people. It's all it. You can make.
Same as that
you can
other
make
little band, Black Sabbath. Yeah,
exactly. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Clearly, Ozzy ate. He was a Satanist. Of course he was. Yeah, that's right.
Remember, I went to I'm always putting up loads of posters, etc. And turned up at the venue one night to play the gig, and I looked at the poster. I think it was a star in Croydon, and the poster I put up there saying April 16th here on such and such a date. Somebody had scribbled across it, nearly as bad as Venom.
Oh really? Well,
Yeah.
take that as a compliment. Because
Yeah, I listened to it.
Oh, you never told me that before, Chris.
No, it's funny, isn't it?
I love the artwork as well. The logo.
Yeah, it's a bit of a
It's very NWOBHM, that logo, isn't it?
yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I really do. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not going to miss it.
That's
You're not going to miss it.
No.
Ah, there you go. That's the way.
Yeah, I like that one as well.
Because Epitaph, that's out now, is sort of, it's not a best of reading you were saying. It's more a case of just giving it back to the audience, like releasing the information, but it's not a best of. As
No,
such.
it's not the best of. No.
No.
It's basically all the recorded stuff we ever done in the put down in the studio.
Because you've got
So-
Sleepwalking on there, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great cover as well. I love that cover for Sleepwalking.
That what?
The cover for Sleepwalking, the album cover. I love
Yeah,
it. That's
great
it's
album
very it's quite graphic for an album of nature that's inside it.
Mm.
Do you think?
I mean,
Like it's
it doesn't-
dark, but the album doesn't feel dark when I play it.
Mm. No, it doesn't really, does it? But that particular song, of course, is well. The artwork goes very well with the lyrics that Dave wrote for that song. But Clapperwood, I suppose, is in that sort of vein. But many of the songs, it depends which way you look at the songs. A lot of we don't tend to write light-hearted stuff in the main, but there's one or two that are light-hearted, not in keeping with that cover.
Yeah, speaking of lyrics, okay. I love lyrics. It's my thing because I'm not a musician as such. I play bass badly, but I like to write and listening to reading the lyrics and your stuff. It's so more complicated lyrically than a lot of the stuff that was around at the time. Like Midday Man absolutely hit me. I don't know why Midday Man hit me, but it hit me. I was listening to it go, because I don't know what it's about. I mean, I'll have to ask you what it's about. Me, I read it as being one of those guys that hangs around in pubs that gets drunk in the middle of the day and it just mouths off. My dad was one of them. God bless his soul, right? And it just made me think of him in that strange way.
Yeah, well, that was Chris wrote I think about half a dozen songs before I joined the band, and I totally agree with you, Tony. Chris's lyrics are bordering on the surreal sometimes, but he manages to wrap it around. He manages to wrap it around stuff that's happening currently. You know, Midday Man. Until like back in the day, it was a thing. If you were working somewhere, you'd go out for a drink at lunchtime. You got all these these kind of weird dudes who transform from office bods into like your best pal. You know.
Yes.
And I think another thing about it that's good is the fact that there's no kind of repeat, like a chorus or a vocal in it. It's just like a straight off story, you know.
And again, that does it for me because I love prog deep down in my soul. I'm a big prog head as well, and that it does it for me. I think it's not that normal chorus verse chorus, you know, out. Yeah.
That was another aspect of when we played live. I mean, you mentioned sleepwalking. I mean, no stereo system or sound system in the world, probably apart from the one that used to be at Bogey's in Cardiff where we played, can do that justice to hearing that live, hearing those guitars all chucking out that lovely bottom-endy riff. You know, it was a bit Sabbathy, but you know, people used to stop and what the hell is that? You know, because it was just this steamroller of noise. You know, and there was no posing or, you know, throwing shapes on. I think we were all just got concentrating on what we were doing. And similarly with Midday Man, right at the end of Midday Man, there's a lovely riff underpinned by Eric, our sadly departed bass player. And it just used to really chug along under its own steam, you know, and it was just a lovely, you know, you get that feeling you must do yourself, Tony. I know the boys do. When you listen to the music, you get goosebumps. You ever get that?
Yes.
You know, that was always one of those. It's a goosebump inducing moment. Would be the start of Sleepwalking, then when John would come in on the drums, and then right at the end of Midday Man is kind of rolling lollop. It's like, you know, and being part of that is what kind of helps when you are playing to a modest audience. Let's say Tuesday night somewhere near Heathrow Airport, you know, in a little pub with about 15 people in it, and of course our partners and friends and stuff, and all of a sudden it gives you the belief in what you're, you know, the subject matter of what you're trying to produce. It makes you think, I want to keep doing this. You know, you don't sort of get to the point where, well, I mean, I did once. I had a fit of petulance that's well documented in the book, that was written about the band. But in the end, we kind of we got to get back together again, and we went again. You know, so. But alluding to the Epitaph CD, there's some stuff on there that we did toward the ends before we split up. There's 4 or 5 songs that we used to play live, but we never got a chance of putting down anywhere. So it's just a pity we never had the opportunity to put 2 or 3 of those down somewhere, because I think they're as good as anything that we did previously.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a brilliant.
We didn't get a second album going. We just didn't happen.
Do you know what, guys? There lies the sadness in this whole conversation, is that bands like, say, if you look at some bands that only make 1 album, like the Pistols, you go, great, they did it once, they're done. You don't need to do it again because it would not be the same, right? You can't replicate that. But there's bands like yourself where you can feel the potential just bulging. It's at the seams. You know, I mean, Chris's lyrics, just amazing. The whole, you know, that sort of mix of hard rock and heavy metal and blues in there. It's I mean, the music isn't quite the same. It isn't the same that now. We don't have that intensity in music anymore, I don't think.
Yes. It's nice of you to say so. We appreciate that. Yeah.
No, genuinely.
We've got to mention Lawrence. I mean, Lawrence's guitaring is phenomenal, in my opinion. I love playing behind Lawrence. You know, he's phenomenal playing.
I mean, this album. It's I'm going to keep saying it, but this one, it's so mature. I mean, you were only young when you did this.
Not so young.
You weren't in your 40s, were you?
No.
Right? No. So, you know, you were young compared.
Yeah.
And you know, you're not just writing songs about, hey, I love you long, I love you all like baby stuff. You're writing like she's mean. That's a really cracking track, that one.
Yeah.
The Dealer, for instance, is an anti-drug song as opposed to being a druggie.
Yeah, that's the Dealer's about somebody that's I knew back in the day, and good friend of mine, and I know she had a few problems. And I found out purely by accident, after not seeing her for a while, that she died. I mean, we were in our 20s, you know, and to see somebody who clearly had issue. I mean, today, given the focus and the spotlight that's putting on speaking up, you know, when you see you've got, putting your hand up saying, look, I've got an issue, I need assistance. Back in, 40 years ago, you'd have been laughed at, you know. This community, society has changed, and thank God for that, you know, to help. As John said, it's not glorifying the taking of drugs by any stretch of the imagination. It's about, sometimes a struggle within, alongside, some of the stuff we're trying to write some new material, and it is very introspective, because life isn't all about, swings. It's not. Sometimes it can be difficult, and we've all had our issues, I'm sure, through the matter of course of our lives. But so I think when you're writing about stuff like that, these days you have to be a bit careful, especially if you're a big band. You can come under so much scrutiny about what you're doing. But I think back in the day we had license to write about whatever we wanted, because it was a blank canvas. You just write what you felt, and I think that's Chris's lyrics and my lyrics came from. We weren't trying to make a hit pop single. We were writing about stuff that bothered us, stuff that we were interested in. Therefore there's not a great deal of stuff about relationships in there.
Well, let's be honest, we were all raggy ass kids from London, right? So we didn't come from Hampstead and OR. We
exactly
pulled up at a time with post-war parents. I mean, my parents were born in 32 and 34. Pre-war parents, sorry. So it's sort of you would have grandparents that had been through wars. You'd have families. It was not as straightforward as some people make it out that it was. You had nothing to worry about. Yeah, bullshit. Really? You didn't live through Maggie Thatcher's Britain, then don't tell me you don't know. So when I listen to songs like "Don't Drink," "Dealer," like you said, it is an important message. Even "Midday Man" is an important message.
And I think, if you go speaking generally now, not just about what you're commenting on, what you're saying, Tony. I think if anybody can listen to that music and relate to those lyrics and think, hang on a minute, I recognise somebody, Midday Man, or the Dealer, then you instantly you've got that connection with the listener, which is, I guess, what everyone is after. I mean, there's our album Sleepwalking. A few of our fans, I would call them, more friends now than fans, have got original copies of that. And I think, John, was it you, John? You put something on about there was a copy of Sleepwalking came up on eBay for 30 quid or something. Was that?
That's right. Yeah.
And get this,
there you go.
This nearly made me weep, because a couple of our fans went on our AppSock and said, I wouldn't sell mine for £300. And
Not even would I.
And there's a girl called Evelina, and she's up in Scotland somewhere, and she put, I wouldn't sell mine for anything. The original copies of Sleepwalking. I mean, over all the years and all the stuff we did, that one little thing is like, wow, man, that's amazing. Yeah. That really is. I mean, to have somebody believe in, it's just so kind of life affirming. It's wonderful.
Well, you come together, don't you? It is wonderful. Is that because you've all come together? I don't know how you met each other, but you all come together at that moment in time, for that 40 minutes on stage, where you are all blood brothers. You're all brothers under the same flesh.
Absolutely.
And then, you know what I mean? And then you make what I love about music at your level and the levels that we're listening to is the energy exchange. We give you energy as an audience. You give us it back as musicians, and it's just a beautiful thing that you can't even really put into words. It's something it just can't. It's a sensation, which I think is why bands like yours are amazing.
It's magical, because you can't replicate it anywhere in life or society. You can't replicate. A lot of people might say you do it for the adulation. I don't think we just loved playing music together. We just loved that.
Enjoyed it. Each other company, playing the music that we enjoyed.
Yeah, because we all used to hang out together. So, you know, we were mates, you know, possibly before we were even, you know, band members. I'd like to put maybe a bit of parity in that, but you know, we'd all just have a bit of a giggle, have a laugh. I mean, John and Eric were always up to something that would make me, Chris, and Lawrence laugh. You know, and we'd just get on stage and we'd have a bit of a mess about. But ultimately, it was a serious business making music. You know, I think if you know, you've got to give the best account of yourself as you can. But we were never really striving to achieve. That might sound a bit of a contradiction in terms, because a lot of, you know, when we weren't actually out to make any money or to sell millions of records. You know, our first, it was just about, it was, well, I mean, I don't know, I guess all the boys have got a different opinion on that. It would have been nice for that to have happened, but
oh, I'd love it for you.
My motivation was to get out of 9 to 5s. Obviously, I'm interested in all the subjects we wrote songs about and others. So I love music, powerful music. I love the lyrics. But I wanted to combine. I really so hated the 9 to 5 routine, or rather 6 till 6, 12-hour routine. I wanted to, you know, earn a living at doing what we like doing, basically, and be proud of it. So I didn't want stacks of money, but I wanted to make a living out of what we like doing, and that's my main objective. And I really did want to succeed, badly. That's why I was doing it.
And that's the point, isn't it, lads? Though
I think that's what it was. I mean, rehearsals. We had to do rehearsals. We had to do recordings, but the highlight for me was seeing my 500 or 600 mates in a pub and performing to them.
Yeah.
Well, they were mates that day, weren't they?
Yeah, and isn't that great? I mean, yeah. Sorry, carry on.
I was saying, yeah, they're all mates. So, loved it.
I just staggered by the quality of the band. You know, when you, like, how do I say this? I've seen, you know, I've heard a lot of music in our lives. We've all heard a lot of music in our lives. Lots comes through this ear and goes out that one, right? And sometimes music stops you. You know, it actually stops you, and you go, what? And you sort of go back and go, oh God, listen to that again. And this album, I know this isn't sleepwalking, but this music, it feels like a gem that's so unappreciated. You know, it's a really brilliant. I mean, I go on it, but Clapham Wood, like, what? You know, the bass playing and the drumming and that, John, mate, amazing.
Nice to say that. Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, genuinely, and again, lyrically, beautiful. Was that one of yours, Chris? Clapham Wood?
That's one of Dave's. It's the best.
Oh, Dave. Well, Dave, that's a fantastic.
The stuff Dave was knocking out, lyrics that Clapham Wood and Thursday's Child and Sleepwalking. It's fantastic. Really well put together. Unbelievable. He has a talent for tidying things up, I think, but not into an accepted format. He's just a damn good songwriter, and I love Dave's lyrics, Clapham Wood, and all the songs he wrote, actually, apart from maybe Looking for Love, which is a bit of a constant song, I thought.
And if you remember, we had a session on, I don't know if you remember, BBC Radio 1, Tommy Vance Rock Show.
I do. I never missed it. I must have missed that one. I used to never miss it.
But we were lucky enough to get a session on that, but it was also repeated, so they must have liked it. So
brilliant.
Yeah.
But again, don't you think that it's because you're from an era where, I mean, the music was very restricted for a long period in that mid 70s, where it was all the huge bands, it was all stadium music, you know, blah. Punk comes along, whether you like it or not, but it breaks the mold. Then you can go and do what you want to do. So new wave of British heavy metal comes around, and bands are doing all sorts of weird stuff, not worrying about, is it this formula? Is it this formula? You know, one band to the next was never the same. And I think that's the beauty of this music, because it doesn't sit in a formula anywhere.
Yeah.
It's you can't categorize it, which is probably one of the hard reasons that it wouldn't sell like 1 million copies, because people want to know what they're buying, don't they?
As I
There's
said
not advent-
before, it's not a pigeonhole. It's one track is blues, one track is punk, one track is fast, one
Yeah.
slow.
Yep.
We're all over the place.
Yeah. Well, the opening track on it, and don't take this the wrong way, guys. I listened to the opening track on it, which was "She's Mean," right? It sounded like "Love Me Like a Reptile" from Motorhead. There's a motif in there that reminds me of Motorhead.
Yeah.
When I was listening to it, and I don't know if that's it. And I saw a picture of you with Lemmy, you guys with Lemmy. So I don't know if they
No,
were
that-
a big influence on you.
Yeah.
The Fast Eddie was once
Yeah.
before Lawrence was our lead guitarist. Before he was with us, he was with a band called Drug Squad, and Fast Eddie was in the audience once when they played Kingston University, and Lawrence says Fast Eddie nicked all of his licks. You know.
There you go. So that's how it worked. That's why then possibly I'm hearing it right.
Yeah.
It's all his licks. Look, that's what a compliment.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fair compliment, isn't it? You know.
The thing with Lawrence is, I mean, he's a remarkable individual. I mean, he's so charismatic and at the same time reclusive. I mean, he's completely. I mean, I knew Lawrence. We started out. I knew him when we were 15-year-olds. We happened to be working at the same post office in London, and I knew he played guitar, but we were just kids. And he's completely self-taught. You know, he hasn't had a moment of instruction from anybody.
Amazing.
So what he plays is completely intuitive. There's no, I'll play an F whatever there, or I'll do this or I'll do that. With him, it just comes from this lovely spontaneousness that he's got with improvisation almost. So
Yeah.
he doesn't play like some guitarists are recognisable by the sort of scales they play or the lead breaks or whatever. But with Lawrence, it's just a lovely depth of emotion he gets from his guitar. I personally, I mean, I know the guys may concur on it. I think Lawrence was probably the most important factor in getting us to any kind of level of achievement, if you like. I think if we'd have had a lesser guitarist than Lawrence, I think we wouldn't have had any success whatsoever, in my opinion. I just think Lawrence, I'm no discredit to the rest of the boys in the band, but Lawrence to me was our kind of ace up our sleeve, because you know, if we were in the middle of something and it wasn't really going well, Lawrence would just pull out a solo which would make people's jaws drop. You know,
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, you know what? There's always one, isn't there? There's always one of those members that just makes everyone rise up with them in every situation in life. There's always someone who brings you up from being great to even better, you know. And I love guitarists that are not trained. I'm a self-taught guitarist. I have no idea about scales and whatever bollocks. You know, I really don't. Like, I've been playing bass for 30, 40 years. I still couldn't tell you where a C was to an F was. It's all about, you know, it's all intuition. And I think that's the same, because you're not molded, are you? You're going, oh, hang on, you can't play a C sharp after an A flat, because that's not, no, you don't. I think it sounds good. I play it.
Well, right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Beautifully put.
Paul McCartney has always refused to learn music because for that exact same reason. You know, you start falling into accepted regimes, and it ties you down. I always laugh when I watch people trying to teach others to play tennis or golf. They get them standing like some person riddled with arthritis or something. You've got to have your angle, left angle and your right angle, and you sort of, you know, they look like a complete nut and mutant trying to hit a ball, you know. There's the bloody ball. Hit it with this stick. That's all you need to know.
Well, that's right. And I'm a self-taught golfer. I just hit the bloody ball. It's how you go, right? If it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's the thing. That's the thing, isn't it? So you've got. I had a quick sneak peek to the new stuff you're bringing out in the maze, or you're working on. Very doomy.
Yeah, so why we
It's
like
got a
it.
real dull, a sort of dirge, but in a good way.
We slung the guitars down to low B tuning. We always love filthy guitars, and when you start taking it down, take the tuning down, it really makes it growl, and it's nice and sludgy. Dave's a great fan of that sound, and so am I.
Yeah, I love it. And the vocals on that, I know that it's not a full, it's quite a rough mix to finish. You haven't finished it, but
it's really an interesting vocal on it.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, well, we just I like yourself, Tony. I still listen to music from right across the metal spectrum, and I listen to a lot of doom at the moment. You know, bands like Trouble. You know, a lot of the doom merchants from down like south, like Crowbar, Pantera. They're quite an old band now. I Hate God. You know, bands like Machine Head. The real kind of the real heavy stuff, and but with a lot of the aggressive death metal type bands, with the death grunt, the vocal that's always like this guttural roar. And I found I was listening to a lot of bands that I really liked, but I couldn't tell them apart because the vocals all sounded the same. You know, if you want to use the word
it's
vocal.
the case. No, it's true. It's very true. Yes,
it's still fantastic music, and I still go to the gigs because I absolutely love it. So there's a couple of bands I've listened to that have had a clean vocal, and I thought that really works because it contrasts the down-tuned, fuzzy, growly stuff with a more. It kind of balances it out nicely. I felt, you know. So I mean, I couldn't really do any death grunts anyway. I don't think, but
it's a hard job.
Yeah,
I've tried it.
It is, yeah. So we kind of did. We just tinkered with it, really, Chris and I initially, and then you know, obviously we got John involved, and Lawrence was up for it. So we just started putting a few ideas out there, and you know, we are what we are. I mean, the music will still be us, but in a slightly different format. And I think one or two people might be disappointed if they're expecting us to go back to being like a blues based.
No, you know, you got to do your own. Yeah,
it's called evolving.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're pretty turned on by what we're doing. It's taken a bit of time because of the logistics of where we all are in the country, and they're doing it all on computers and stuff, as opposed to all bundling into the rehearsal room and you know, thrashing it out. So plus, you know, we've got no time constraints at the moment now, so we're all kind of busy living our lives, you know, as you tend to do, and every now and again we'll drop back into, better put something down on Audacity then to let the boys listen to. So you know, but yeah, it is. I agree. I listen to it. And I think it sounds great. I really do. But you've only
I loved it.
That Song of Maize is pretty much in the can. But I think you probably heard just a couple of minutes of it. Tony. I think it's about
just a fraction,
isn't it?
Yeah, like a 2 minute and a half or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 7-8 minutes long, that song. So
wow.
But yeah, Chris is engineering everything, so he's working his magic.
Yeah, good on him. The thing is, I don't think you could look each other in the face if after all these years you come up with an album and you basically do Sleepwalking 2. Because you've all grown, you all have life experiences, you've all listened to so much more music than you did before then. Why would you go and replicate something different? You know, I think that's you've got such unenviable position to do it.
Yeah.
Involvement. Yeah, evolving is a great term. Because why would you want to? It's boring listening to the same thing. Don't get me wrong, I like AC/DC, but my God, one album and I'm done. You know, it's only so much of that you can take.
I think it's a good point you make, actually. Because if you said, for example, I'll name your favourite AC/DC album to somebody of my generation, I'd probably say, you know, Highway to Hell or Let There Be Rock.
Yeah, that's it.
They've probably made about 50 albums since then. But like you say, they're just so formulaic, which is great for you know, I'm not knocking it. AC/DC fans, you know, you get what you pay for essentially. But you know, I think you know, there is a point where artistically, if it's not too much of an overindulgent word to use, you've got to think, well, can't we just do something different? This is getting on my fucking tits, you know.
Yeah. Do I have to do that one riff again? Like, you know. Because it's like a status quo. I love a big status quo fan. Yeah. I've never seen them live. Never really interested me, to be honest with you. But Quo was a band that is another band like that. I love Quo. In fact, I dated the drummer's granddaughter for about 6 weeks. One glorious summer. Oh, right. Don't ask me what a bloody name is.
Caroline, was it?
No, I don't care. Rebecca, Rachel, I can't bloody know. Something like that. Anyway, God, God, that's going to date me. But anyway, that band again, you know what you're getting with him. You know, another song, another song. But you don't mind it because that's Quo, right? So with AC/DC.
And I saw them four times in 1 week at the end of the road tour.
Jesus, that's a lot of Quo.
Yeah, and then next year they came back again.
Oh, look, we have a singer over here called John Farnham, and he's always retiring. It's like the last concert, right? Yeah, okay, yeah, and then he's back the next year.
Next week,
yeah.
Right.
like Sabbath, really. You know, I don't know if did you watch that final concert?
I avoided it.
Yeah,
I didn't go near it.
Yeah.
I didn't go near it. It felt incongruous, and I didn't like it. It didn't feel genuine to me. You know.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And they're all American bands. This is a guy. These are guys from Birmingham. Where are the British bands on this lineup? Where's Judas Priest? Where's Iron Maiden? Where's all these bands?
Yeah, exactly. That.
Saxon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just all Americans having a wank.
Yeah.
And then charging what, £1,000 a seat or something?
Yeah, bloody war.
Oh, that was outrageous, wasn't it?
Yeah. I get it's for charity.
Yeah.
I get it. I don't strike me down. I get it's for charity. I understand. But there's a point where you're taking the piss. And that's
absolutely, yeah. Absolutely so.
But the amount
I've just got to plug my computer in. My battery's running low.
All right, that's all right.
Okay.
The amount of vilification, lads, that I got for saying that, I got so much backlash for that. Oh, what do you mean? You're a Sabbath fan, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I am. I love Ozzy. I don't want to see him like that. I don't want to see him in a chair, pushed out on a wheelchair. I don't want to. What is that?
Yeah.
I don't, you don't want to go and see your beloved memory of family in a way they are. You want to remember how they were, not how they are when they go.
Yeah. That's
right?
very true, that.
And so I'm not doing it. I just was not going to. I refused. Which is, it makes you look like a Grinch, right? But it is what it is. It is what it is. Oh, dear. So you're working on the new album, obviously. New material, which is we were talking about with Maze, and you've got other stuff bubbling away in the background.
Yeah, we've got about 4 songs on the go at the moment.
Yeah,
and we've got the
it's
Harley
quite
Quinn,
exciting. Yeah, we've kind of we're kind of looking at some of the stuff that we did back in the day that we never really that didn't make it to Epitaph, and Chris and Lawrence have been sort of fiddling around with bits and pieces, and we've managed to kind of extract potential from some old tunes. There was a song that didn't make it onto the Epitaph or to Sleepwalking. Indeed, it was one of the first songs that we dropped once we started being more prolific with our writing, and it was an instrumental called Harlequin /57, and Chris has kind of rejigged that and brought it up in, dragged it into the modern day with some nice sounding effects on the guitar, and it sounds absolutely stunning, I think. And
mate. So
I was listening to it I was out in my van the other day, and I just had a moment. I thought I'll just listen to that, and I found myself, this thing of you want to get involved in something. When you hear or see something you like, you think, well, anyway, I listened back to what Chris had done, and I thought I started humming some kind of sympathetic refrain over the top, and I thought, well, that might work. So I sent Chris a message a couple of days ago. I said, look, I'm going to try and put a vocal over this. What was originally an instrumental. I think it could work, and sometimes that's what you need to just give you a little kick up the arse to say, oh yeah, let's push on with that. And there's one or two other bits and pieces that we've been tinkering with, apart from new stuff. So there's plenty there for us to experiment with. It's just, as we were saying, it's finding the time sometimes, because we have every couple of weeks, Tom, we have like a band chat every Wednesday night, every 2 weeks, every fortnight. We have a band chat on Wednesday night, and we'll talk about shit, about what we're doing, and it was okay. See you in a couple of weeks' time, and then before you know it, 2 weeks has gone by, and it's as if it was yesterday, because life is just time is just
oh yeah, man,
it's
flying by. It's bloody almost December. It's crazy.
Yeah, so we're still kind of we're finding the stimulation, if you like, if that's the right word, to keep being productive. It's taken a little bit longer than it would back in the day when we rehearsed every couple of weeks. We go and book a room for 3 or 4 hours, and we get in there with fresh ideas out, and you were kind of compelled because of the financial, the cost of renting a bloody rehearsal space for 3 or 4 hours. And so coming in, guys, just trying to get something done, and I think we were a bit more productive then because we kind of had a little bit more energy for what we were doing because it was it was different circumstances, and we're now because we were all working full time, and so we get down rehearsals on a Saturday night, we'd have a couple of beers and then we kick on with stuff, and we said I think that'll work, and you'd improvise on the spot, you'd make something up. John would put a fill in, Chris would put something in, or I'd warble something over the top, or Lawrence or Eric, we'd kind of all work in the same direction. But when you're trying to do it remotely, i.e. via an app on a fucking God, terrible, on a computer.
You can swear, Matt. You can swear. Don't give a shit. You carry on.
When you're doing when you're doing it on a computer, you've got to. It sounds ridiculous, but you'd be out doing making something to eat, and you haven't got that kind of pressure on you to do something at any given moment. You'll say, I'll do it tomorrow. Before you know it, tomorrow's been and gone, and you're on to the next week.
Yeah.
So it's just that aspect. I know John's still working full time as well. I mean, I don't know how he finds time to do anything because he's a busy guy working full time. Chris and I have the luxury of being well, I'm semi-retired, and Chris is. I don't know. Did you ever retire, Chris? You've always been a bit of a kind of find something to do type bod.
Yeah, I mean, I finished the day job crap, but I never had time to go to work anyway. I've got all sorts of bloody all sorts of things on the go.
There you go.
I spend 90% of my time on this new material. I spend 10% of my time trying to promote the old stuff as well, So I do spend a lot of time on it, but I always have had this obsession with things, totally obsessed,
Yeah. But that's what you want, though. And I was thinking about this. I talk to lots of bands. I mean, and the bands that say to me, I say, what's it like recording, remotely? Because you sometimes you can almost, you feel that they want to be in the same. Oh, we're in Germany, and my drummer's in Japan, and I'm in USA, and all that sort of stuff. You've got to be able to use this crap in front of you. I barely know how to use my laptop, let alone having to know how to record like music.
It's difficult.
Tricky, especially as a drummer, John. Yeah.
The trouble is as well, you haven't got the feeling. I can see Dave what he's doing, or Chris.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a key change or something.
Yeah.
But when I'm in my shed listening to the music on the cans, I don't necessarily get that feeling of what's coming up next.
Yeah, it's not intuitive, is it?
A little bit of feeling for me.
Yeah.
Until I listen to it about 20 times and then realise where the changes are coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's doing it totally is difficult.
Yeah.
I still think some people think it would lead to a sound that's clinical and not lacking humanity. But I think putting it together, it's
You get on table, mate.
It is possible to achieve a real sound. It's not cheating, I don't think.
No, I don't think it's at all. I think it's the modern way that music is made. I mean, things have all evolved, haven't they? I mean, you look at the way the Beatles made music to the way that Zeppelin made music. It's completely different, yeah. Way that Floyd recorded to when I mean, desks are different. Software now. I mean, most guitarists now I talk to, they use plugins for everything.
Yeah.
It's very rarely do they have the pedal on the floor into there. It's all virtual plug-in pedals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't know if you've Tony, if you've heard of a band called Meshuggah.
Yeah, I know Meshuggah. Yep.
They've recorded all their stuff remotely, and if you listen to the intricacy of their music, I honestly don't know how they do it. But having said that, if you've got it all on a computer in front of you, you can, I suppose, if you listen to it, you can tune into what it is and you can fine tune it You can move stuff. You know, when you've got your little graphic, you can move stuff back or forward so that it fits exactly. And consequently, their music is so machine-like with its precision, but it's still. But when you listen to them live, I don't know how they reproduce it, because it's still as amazing. So, you know, we're talking about ability, moving all around the house. We've had a delivery,
right.
so so I think that's the beauty of music, because you can go from stuff that we used to do back in the day to how high tech some stuff is these days. You look at live shows these days with the pyros and the speaker systems and the effects and everything. So going back to what we used to do, where you just, you know, get yourself a pint, go into the room at the back, watch a band with no light show, maybe a bit of smoke. You know,
if you were lucky,
get suffocated for an hour. And so, but that's the spectrum of rock music, isn't it? You know, I still hanker after the classic days of, you know, a small hall at the back of a pub somewhere, and you know, if you're lucky, you might get to a local band, and you know, that's how you discover new music, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I exactly right, and I'm hoping that the listeners and watch this, discover you and get to listen to your brilliant music. But I had a great discussion with a producer a couple of years ago now, and we were talking about John Bonham. All right.
Okay.
Now, we were talking about John Bonham, and we were talking about quantization of music. So, you know, snap to a grid, yeah. And they were saying, well, let's take he took a Bonham drum part, and he took all of the other bits off, so it was just the raw drum part. And Bonham is this, you know, he was this sloppy, beautiful octopus of a man, right? Off beat, on beat, behind the beat, above the beat. You know, nothing about Bonham was structured. He just did it the way he did it.
Nothing was subtle.
Yeah, right. Nothing was subtle with Bonham. And then they took it and they clicked it and made it perfect to the track, to the song. Completely changed the music.
Right.
Completely.
Yeah.
It almost wasn't Zeppelin anymore, because you didn't have that off where's it going, that bluesy free fall. It was suddenly tick, 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 dead on, and it took all of the beauty away from it, all of it. It just killed it completely. And that's why it's got to be, like you're saying with Meshuggah, but they do it because they know they do it. It's like math rock almost. They do it because that's what their fans expect. But bands like yours, you want that freedom and looseness, you know?
Yeah, when I'm doing the stuff now, I've laid down I use a drum machine quite often to set up an idea. And when John comes on with does the real drums, I see that he's shifted back 200 to 2 thousandths of a second there, and
it's slightly out.
He's out there, you know. So it's but
I'm a drummer. I can't keep time.
Exactly.
Same as my guitar, though. If I'm going to come in on a beat, it's always never computer spot on. It's always one side or the other of the mark. But within bounds, that makes it human, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's like one of these albums that I go on about that I really hate, but people again really get angry when I say it. I really hate Def Leppard's what's it called? Not Pyromania. The other one.
Hysteria.
Well, no, Hysteria. All right.
On Through the Night.
On Through the Night's brilliant. Oh, love that album. But Hysteria is just awful for me. I can't stand it. And people go, oh, but it's like the most beautifully produced album of the 80s. You go, yeah, that's it. No.
Drum sound is horrible.
It's awful. It's awful. But they
polished, very, very polished.
Yeah.
So polished and so, God bless this, American, that it just became, it's just, but you tell people that and they get really very angry at you. It's like, God forbid.
But it's funny. It's a valid point you make, though. I mean, if you listen to ZZ Top's first few albums, and then listen to the album that made them, Eliminator, you listen to stuff like Tres Hombres and Digueto, Rio Grande Mud, and Fandango, which is brilliant. It's got Blue Jean Blues and it's got Tush on it, and then they go and make Eliminator with Give Me All Your Love in, Sharp Dressed Man, and stuff like that. You couldn't get more of a contrast. You
No,
know?
you couldn't. You couldn't. And that's the one thing you can say about Maiden is they never did that. They never went and made. I mean, they've made a couple of dubious albums, as all bands have, but they didn't sort of buy the American ticket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah,
again, Leopard is one of those new wave of British heavy metal bands which I adore their early stuff, absolutely do. You know, On Through the Night and High and Dry, brilliant. And after that, nah,
yeah,
off you go.
yeah, yeah. I agree.
That's why I love
yeah.
that's why I love what you're doing. You're doing something different. You know what I mean? This new stuff feels different, and I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Good.
Yeah, well, I think,
Yeah.
I think we'll feel the same. It's quite exciting, actually. It's quite exciting.
Yeah, yeah. What a wonderful career. Sort of, it's almost Spinal Tappy, isn't it? Sort of,
Yeah.
you know, ups and downs, ins and outs.
Well, that's part of Dave's written a book, and it's exactly what it's all about. I love Dave's book about the band.
I'll have to read that.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Chris can sort something out there for you, Tony.
Yeah,
brilliant.
I'll send you one.
Cheers, man. That'd be great. Is it available to order for all people that are listening to this? Can they get it on like Amazon and things?
Yeah, Amazon. Yeah. It's called Introduce the Title, Dave.
Yeah, it's called The Ghosts of April.
Oh, I love it. What a great name.
It's fairly comprehensive. It just details how I first met Lawrence when we were kids, and then the kind of time that elapsed in between times of my kind of a bit of my personal life, and then bumping into Lawrence, quite a long time after that. And he says he was in a band and they're looking for a singer, so I chanced my arm, and then obviously got to meet Chris and John and Eric, and it just goes through the audition process and getting out on the road in South London over the course of a year or two, and it kind of documents the as you're saying, Tony, the ups and the plentiful downs. But it was never dull. So I hope I've done it justice. Everybody who's read it said they think it's quite enjoyable, and it's written from the heart. There's no kind of, again, no ambition or desire to be a world famous published author. It's just an ordinary bloke writing down ordinary thoughts about what was going on around him at the time, and it involved the cast was John, Eric, Chris, Lawrence, and our partners at the time, and our friends and our chums who came to see us on a rainy January night in bloody wherever it was. Up to ultimately, as John mentioned, the Friday Rock Show, the Hells Angels Kent Custom Bike Show we did 2 years running, the sessions at Maida Valve, like for the Friday Rock Show, then this bit we did on TV where we got to meet Lemmy, up to and including our ultimate sad kind of demise, really. And it's I quite like it, to be honest with you. So, but I'm sure Chris will let everyone have the details.
Yeah,
of where to
get brilliant. Because I'll put in the link in the show notes as well for people to be able to order it and so on and so forth. If there's a link there for them. I just think it's great that you've documented it. It's brilliant that you've done that.
Yeah, well, we sadly we lost our great friend and bandmate and brother in arms, Eric, to COVID at the start.
Oh no!
Yeah, he was only 55, and
Jesus.
We were kind of, I think there were rumblings afoot that we might do something again.
Exactly.
And John and Eric had been in touch, and I think it was quite feasible. It might have happened, but of course, when we lost Eric, I think he was one of the first in London to die from COVID. It was just straight after we went into lockdown, but he'd had a few health issues anyway. So somebody said, well, why don't? Well, I actually wanted to write something on our, just for Eric, because I mean he was part of our story, So I started writing a few words down. I think I sent them to Chris, and I might have sent a few to John, and then John started putting something together as well, on a slightly different tangent based around our gigs like a timeline sort of thing, and just putting a little bit of detail in what happened at some of the gigs that certainly he can remember that I can't, and I can remember that he can't, sort of thing. So but it's kind of developed into probably like 600-700 words, and I thought, well, that's too much. And before I knew it, I was actually pinpointing little bullet points chronologically in our career, and I thought, yeah, I think I can probably make a bit more of this. So I sent a few ideas over to Chris and John, and the stuff came back. This is great, man. Do more. So over the course of probably about a year, I managed to find a publisher who's based over in a place called Shrewsbury, which is over in the west of England.
I know.
And he liked it, and he said, "Yeah, we'll publish it for you." And and that was it really. It went onto Amazon, and they've made it available. And it's not a rags to riches story at all. In actual fact, it's a rags to rags story. I mean, it's one or two people who've read it have said it's heartwarming, because you read so many books and it's about people who've succeeded, and it's about people who've managed to find a way to win. With our book, it's not quite the point of what the story is, but it's kind of it's about a failure, essentially. It's about the humility of the cards that life deals you again, and that reflects in some of our songs. Life isn't a wonderful bed of roses. Sometimes it can be a pain in the fucking arse, and sometimes when you write about stuff, whether it's by music or whether you're writing it in the form of a book, it's quite cathartic, because you're just you're getting rid of some of that kind of negativity, if you like, by putting what you feel down on a piece of paper. And when other people read it and acknowledge it, I think that in itself is some kind of reward.
You know what? That's brilliant, John, Dave, because for every one band like yourself, there'll be millions of others that have not taken that chance to document them, what's happened to them. And let's be honest, for all the big bands that we all love, we all live beautiful music we love to listen to, successful music. There's something in our soul that goes, what are we missing? What's on that page that I didn't turn over? What's on that cassette I didn't place in my tape deck? There's always that something that you think. I know I am. I'm always chasing what I'm absolutely live in fear that I'll die, and I'll go, I didn't listen to that. Genuinely.
It's a great point.
Genuinely feel that way. And so when you reached out and said, hey, listen, it's just something wonderful, because you're making an effort for everyone to hear it and see it again. Yeah. And I think that's brilliant.
Cheers, Tony. But very nicely said. Thank you. That's lovely.
Yeah, but it's true. We're all of a men of a certain age. We're all of a certain vintage, all of us here. So we don't want to get to that point where any later go, I didn't listen to that. Why did
that would be the worst thing that could happen?
I think it bloody could, actually, to be honest with you. A good example is a lot of some bands that I've gone and poo-pooed in my time, going, oh, terrible albums that they produced, and then you go back and go, what was I thinking? Was I being a snob? Because I actually quite like this.
Yeah. I'll give you an example of that. There was a band called Mama's Boys, and I thought, I'm not going to listen to a band called Mama's Boys. It was on a festival, and they were brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's it, isn't it? Yep.
So check out
Mama's cover.
April 16th.
Yes. All right. Mama's Boys at April 16th. Absolutely. Well, guys, look, it's coming to the end. So thank you very much for chatting. It's been a real pleasure.
Thanks for your time, Tony. Thank you.
Thank you,
Tony. I couldn't have been. The fact that you're local Londoners makes me smile. Firstly, don't get. Secondly, I absolutely love that you have reconnected and are recreating art together.
As they say,
what's really this special thing? Yeah, we definitely will do. I'm so looking forward to when the new stuff comes out. All of you, Chris, Dave, John, I think it's going to be marvelous. I love the artwork already. I know it's only proto artwork, but I really love it.
Yeah,
it's got a real. It's got a real.
Nice one.
Yeah, we're letting Chris loose on that, on the artistic design department.
Well, he's good at it.
He is. Yeah, he's going to be our video our VHS team. We'll get some old Betamax tapes and we can rub them down and get a bit of sandpaper on them, and then he's going to be in charge of all the engineering. So it'll be a Chris Harris production. We're in safe. We're in good hands. We're in good hands.
Because the artwork is very nihilistic. Has a real sort of sense of not getting to the end, i.e. the maze, right? But it just has that. I looked at it. I was like, God, it felt cold. Give me a shiver. It's not a pretty picture by any means. Even though it's not graphic, it's just a maze. But it's just so cold.
It is a very odd thing, isn't it? You saw the video, they did the preview.
Yeah.
Quite chilling, isn't it? Really, I think so.
Yeah,
I think it gives us a bit more of stuff to develop, because we've got this kind of inherent retrospective aspect of not just our music and the music we listen to, but our lives and our views on life and our opinions and what shapes them and what they become, aligned with contemporary issues. But one thing remains constant, and that's the human struggle. In whatever aspect or form you might want to dress it up in, whether it's what's happening in the world at the moment with politics. I mean, it looks like we're all going to hell in a handcart at the moment, given what's happening in the world, not just in so many facets of human struggle, are down to a handful of people just trying to make our lives a misery. And so thank God for music. Because if I've had a shit day or whatever, or if I'm feeling melancholy, I just go onto YouTube. I've got hundreds of vinyl albums, and even got loads of those little 7-inch singles. But I just go onto YouTube, plug in, get it onto my old sound system, my soundbar and stuff, and I'll go through YouTube, and I can guarantee I can find something. And I don't want to be disturbed for 5 or 10 minutes while I'm listening to that piece of music. I'll usually wait till the missus has gone out to do something. I'll shut the door, turn the volume up, and it just picks me up, and it takes me and puts me somewhere where I'm cocooned from all the shit that's going on around me. And music has always had that capability with me. Like I said, with the goosebump moment.
Yeah, look, these things never leave my head. I think my wife thinks I was born with them. But I couldn't agree more with you, Dave. Like I do a weird thing. Like I tell this to people, it's not. So I get distracted very easily. Oh, looking out the window, right? So I'll put an album on. I'll do it in the dark. Lights off, completely dark. Brilliant. Because then I can hear all the nuances of what's going on. I hear Chris, I hear Dave, I hear John. But when I put the lights on and I go for a walk down the road and put it on, it's a different sound completely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, true. Actions,
And I love that. I love that you can change the environment and change the way you hear it.
Yeah.
And it's a very special thing. I was like you. I just don't. The lights are off. My door's shut. Don't come in here for half an hour. Like leave me alone.
Yeah. The sensory perception is such an important part of what makes us. And I know Chris and Sandy, you were talking about the kind of otherworldly stuff.
Yes.
It's also it kind of draws you into somewhere that you allow yourself to be drawn in. It's the same with music. If I'm listening to giving a quick example, I get lots. I'm of a certain age, like you said, and I get lots of stuff coming through my letterbox. It's not too late to think about your funeral plans.
Oh God,
what will you do? And so I've been talking to my lovely missus about this kind of what 3 songs? Because you're allowed 3 songs, I believe, when you actually do go in the incinerator. You're allowed 3 songs to be played at your funeral, and I can't really think of. Can I have 100?
Yeah. What?
Can you make it a concert like you meant?
I've got written down. I've got 6 minimum, and I know what they already are. Right? I've got them written down, and I've told my wife you cannot, and no one's leaving until Rome the Ancient Mariner stops, and then you all go. Right?
Yeah.
Like when my lovely father died a couple of years ago, and I was back I had to organise the funeral, and people were like, "What?" I said, "What music are you going to do?" And he absolutely loved the Seekers.
Oh yeah.
So I had Morningtown Ride. He was very Christian, so I had Jerusalem, but I had I wanted the ELP version, but I wasn't allowed. So at Jerusalem, okay, and then as he was brought in, I had Underneath the Arches because he was a Cockney, right?
Oh, brilliant!
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so lovely. It was honestly, guys, that moment I was closer to my father than I've ever been.
Yeah,
And he's not, and he wasn't even alive. He was in this wooden box.
yeah,
But because that music was something that he was so connected to, that
Yeah.
when they brought him in, it felt like he was alive sitting next to me.
yeah.
It was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
And I get you. Really hard to do. I don't envy. That's why I said this is what I have, and don't change it. These are the 6 because I'm not thinking about it again.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
But again, thank you for coming on, guys. I know you've got a lot to do and lots to keep up with, but in life. But I appreciate your time.
Thank you. So
And again, Chris, thanks for sending me that. Honestly, that's just a real thrill.
My pleasure, and I'll send a book through as well shortly.
Thank you. Yeah, that was when I got that in the mail. I was like, oh yeah, it's fantastic.
Awesome.
Hasn't left
You're
my
a star,
CD.
Tony. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, thanks for your
All
time, Tony. Thank you.
Oh yeah, again, thanks guys.
Pleasure.
April 16th. I will put links to the website and the Facebook page and places to get the book and the CD. I'll put all that in there for you.
Thank you.
And hopefully you're going to get some more ears and eyes on you.
Lovely.
Bless you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, Tony. You take care, buddy.
You too, man.
All
See
the
you,
best,
mate.
sir. Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye, mate.
Yeah.
Peace.
I've got to learn how to turn this off now. Yeah, peace. That's it, man. How do I turn this thing off?
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states.
When you think of skyrocketing brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, it's easy to credit their success to great products, sleek branding, and brilliant marketing. But here's the overlooked secret. The real magic lies in the engine behind the scenes, the business powering their business. For millions of brands, that engine is Shopify, making selling seamless for them and shopping effortless for us. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Aloe Yoga uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/retail, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/retail to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/retail.